You're welcome back. This is Firecrackers. Wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's get things started tonight as we get some perspective from Abuja, the nation's capital. Jonathan Asake, the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union, Sokapo. He also joins us from Abuja, the nation's capital. Let's cross over now. Of course, we stay in Abuja, but let's get over now and speak with the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union, Jonathan Asake, who also joins us tonight on the program. Well, Jonathan, I'm sure it's not been a very pleasant time for you as well in Kaduna State. There have been killings. You are an indigene of Kaduna. We will come to that very shortly, but let's even just get things started with you, of course, with your immediate thoughts and reactions to the breaking news that we have now on confirmed report about the release of the Jangebe school girls in Zamfara State. How are you receiving this news?
Well, good evening, and thank you for having me here. Just like Aisha has said, any news of the release of a person that has been held in captivity is good news, in whichever manner. And if these children were held for some time and they were released, it's good news for the families, it's good news for them, it's good news for all well-wishers, and it's good news for all of us. Because what is happening is actually quite unfortunate. And it appears the more you look, the less you see what is playing out. And of course, going by the utterances of our leaders, it's not really helping matters. It appears as if the whole thing is a drama that is playing out according to script. And so let's leave it at that.
Let's talk about the killings in Kaduna, precisely the state where you come from. What's the mood in Kaduna State right now?
Well, I can talk about communities in southern Kaduna very well because I have been part of the struggle in these trying times for the people. And I know the mood is just that of frustration. Is there a government in place? While the attacks are going on, but there is something that has taken center stage now, the kidnappings. And the kidnappings are not just the ones on the highways, because the highways are being, there are security agencies that are patrolling the highways, the normal Kaduna, Abuja highway, and other roads. But the real one taking place that is unnoticed by many people is the one taking place within the communities, these villages, where the kidnappers will go and just take a whole family, people that are looking for food to eat. Most of these families have not been able to get to their farms, so they are starving. But when they are taken, the kidnappers will place a ransom of 10 million, a ransom of 5 million on a child. And the people will begin to run helter-skelter. And oftentimes, when they don't pay on time, they are killed. This one does not hit the headlines of our media, but it's happening on daily basis, where people are kidnapped and ransoms are collected. So people are being impoverished the more. So it's double jeopardy. One, most of these communities have been displaced. They cannot go to their farms. They are only waiting for good-spirited individuals to come and give them food. And then they are being chased again and kidnapped in their communities. And ransoms are being placed on them, and they struggle to pay. And so it is reducing them, impoverishing them every day. And that's the situation. And nobody reports these things anymore because it appears as if the government has just abandoned everybody to its own fate, as if we're in a failed state. That is the mood right now.
Well, Jonathan, these are really very interesting times indeed for Nigeria and, of course, Nigerians, especially for those of you resident in the northeastern part of the country. But Jonathan, live for us in Abuja, what do you make of these killings and abductions? Do you think that the Nigerian government have failed?
Well, I think I will not be far from what my sister Aisha has said. I think we cannot call a spade by any other name except we call it a spade. If we choose to call a spade a shovel, we are making a mistake, and that is where we have our problems in this country. You see, these killings have been going on. Everything rests on the table of leadership. And the highest level of leadership, political leadership in this land is the president. If we say that it is not just in his nature to be talking to the Nigerian public, then what did he come to do as a president? I can play you tapes when he was campaigning. He was campaigning and canvassing for votes, condemning the other administration. It was his own words, his own mouth he used in talking. Nobody was talking to him. It was not Garba Shehu. It was not additional. Now that it comes to governance, leadership that will take this country out of the sinking sand we have found ourselves, then they are saying he cannot be talking to people. To me, that is an insult for Nigerians. And let me just say it here.
Okay.
You know, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me just say it here. We cannot run away from the fact that leadership has failed in this country at all levels. Just listen to utterances of the leaders. Now, if the president will not talk, each time Garba Shehu or additional will talk, they insult Nigerians. We're citizens of this country. We're not just puppets. We're not objects. We're equal citizens guaranteed by the constitution of the land. And if people are being killed, these are lives. These are human lives that are being killed every day. A governor will come on board and say that Fulanis have a right to carry AK-47 and other citizens don't have the right to defend themselves. In my place right now in southern Kaduna, our youth have been thrown into detention just for rising up, not to attack anybody, but to defend their communities with bows and arrows. They don't have AK-47. But the people who are carrying AK-47 and killing them in their communities and displacing them and taking over their land, nothing has been done. No justice has been done to them. And that is why it even pains me more when we had this man, Sheikh Gumi, who said he was, canvassing for amnesty to bring peace to the communities, and asked these herdsmen to down their tools. We were all applauding, happy, thinking it was all done in sincerity. But when that tape came out, that he spoke in Hausa and incited the very bandits, the very criminals against the military and against the communities, and against Christians. Let me say it, that it was non-Muslim soldiers that were killing the bandits. Then it begins to show that even the Nigerian military, which is the last hope that we have in this land now, is being divided, is being incited. Now, what does it portray? A man that we all believe that he was doing it in sincerity. It has now been so clear that there is no sincerity in this, and that something is happening that we may not understand, that there is a script that is playing out, that even the money that is being given for the amnesty is money that maybe is being given, it's just in the name of, it's a smoke screen, but it is not really meant for that amnesty. So we have to begin to ask these questions. And when you bring us here, allow us to ask the questions, because Nigerians are watching. And this is a country for all of us. It's not a country for one man. It's not a country for one tribe. It's not a country for one religion. And let me give the assurance here. In our communities, most of our people cannot go back to their farms. That is what pains me every day. But the assurance we're giving is that anybody who has gone to kill members of a community and taken over that community, no matter how long it takes, every inch of land will be recovered. Anybody who wants land should go and negotiate and buy and do his business, rightful business according to constitution and according to legality, but not to go and kill and then with impunity and nothing is done. And when people want to discuss it, they are stopped from discussion. The NBC is bringing its rod on the media.
Jonathan, let's take another breath. I will come back and keep exploring these issues with you, because we will also need to talk about the chief security officers. The president cannot be in 36 states. We do have governors at your level, the state level where you are. We have a governor in your state. We'll get to explore the efforts by the state government towards ending the killings in Kaduna State. That's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers, where we discuss issues of national interest, and we are asking the question tonight: why has the multiple killings and abductions continued in Nigeria unabated, and of course why the federal government has actually failed to defeat insurgency in the country, the likes of Boko Haram, banditry, and all of that is playing out, especially in the northeast here in the country. We have Jonathan Asake, the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union, with us tonight on the program, sharing his views and his thoughts. Jonathan, if we have you back now, we need to make reference to the meeting earlier this week, where we had the 19 northern governors as well as traditional rulers, including the Sultan of Sokoto, and of course the likes of Professor Ibrahim Gambari, the chief of staff to the president, in that particular meeting, where insecurity was the main focus. I'm just a bit worried. How optimistic are you about this particular meeting where we had the 19 northern governors?
I am not optimistic about anything, and I'm not expecting anything different from what we have seen in the past. But when somebody is having an ailment, and anytime somebody comes before you, when you are under the pains of that sickness, anytime somebody comes and says he has a remedy, he has a cure, whether it is serious or not, whether he has appeared several times before you and was not able to cure you, you will still have that hope that he can give you a cure. And that is the situation we find ourselves today. And I'm speaking in that regard, that several meetings have been held like this, and by our northern leaders, and nothing tangible has come out of it. We still have the killings going on. We still have the kidnappings even increasing. We still have people displaced out of their lands, and they cannot go back to farm. They are starving, and nothing is done to take them back to their communities. And the bandits or the kidnappers or the killer herdsmen are still having a field day, kidnapping people and collecting huge ransom. And so if the northern leaders and the governors are coming together with a different thing of what we have seen in the past, then let us begin to see something more forceful, something that appears like, look, these people committing these heinous crimes against humanity are going to be tracked down. They are going to be brought to the wrath of the law will have its full force on them. And unless we hear that, unless we see that happening,
well, it does appear that we have lost connection with Jonathan Asake, the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union. We'll see how we can get him back tonight on the program as we get his views on issues of security in the north, and of course talking about the fallout or the takeaways of the northern governors meeting, the 19 northern governors as well as the traditional rulers in that region, a meeting that held early in the week precisely in Kaduna State. Well, this is Firecrackers. One man who has been a subject of controversy definitely has to be Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Gumi. He wants to join us live on the program tonight, but just a few hours to the program, the Sheikh reached out to us and said that he has been his thoughts and views have been misconstrued largely by especially the media. and because of that, he declined to have a live chat with us. But we had a recorded version of the chat with him, courtesy of our Kaduna State correspondent, Bosan Yakusa, who had a one-on-one exclusive chat with the Islamic cleric. We'll take a look at that report, and then we'll come back and get to wrap things off. But that's in a moment. I understand Jonathan is back now. Let's see if we can wrap things off with Jonathan before we get to that report. Jonathan, thank you for coming back. As we begin to wrap things off now on the program, the strings of attacks in the northeastern part of the country, do you think it's a direct attack on education, you think?
It's a direct attack on not only on education, it's an attack on even our culture, our attack on politics, attack on particularly on the economy, because Nigeria is going down economically. And so if this spate of attacks all over the country are not checked, then the truth is that in the next few years, I can only imagine the kind of food insecurity this country is going to face. Because virtually there is no community within the Middle Belt areas, which is the food basket of the nation, that has not been attacked and people displaced and cannot get back to their farms. So if food cannot be produced and transported to other places, I don't know how Nigeria can survive. So that is the situation we're facing. So even the education we're talking about, education is the very foundation for the development of any nation. No nation can rise up technologically or scientifically or otherwise without a proper foundational education for its children. And these children are being out of school in the Northeast, in the Northwest, and in all other parts of the country that have been suffering these attacks. So we can only imagine what the impact will be on the nation and even the quality of leadership that we're expecting to have at all levels in a few years to come is if this menace is not checked.
All right, Jonathan, I guess that's a good place to anchor our conversation tonight. We do hope that things get better, especially in the northeast and, of course, northwest, where the region has come under very, very severe attack. But I'd like to thank you so much for your views and your thoughts tonight on the program. The president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union, Jonathan Asake, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.